Hello and welcome back to Love by Design. My name is Joan. Today's episode is extremely personal because I'm a 3/6, the Love Alchemist. So over the last couple of weeks, we started to dig into the 12 human design dating archetypes. And today we're talking all about the threes. So if you know a little bit about my story, you will know that I've been engaged 8 times. I've had the most amazing, beautiful love stories. I've had lots of messy in-betweens, lots of messy endings, and everything else that you can think about. And for many, many years, I thought that it meant that I was doing something wrong until I understood my design. So today we're exploring the 2 experimenter archetypes, the 3/5 and the 3/6. Both share the line 3, which we already talked about before, which is the experimenter, which means that they learn love by living it through painful trial and error, through what works and what doesn't work. But there's a bit of a difference because the 3/5 learns and then leads with solutions, whereas the 3/6 learns and then models with wisdom. So a very, very slight difference, but a difference all the same. So if you've ever been called too much or too intense, or you've been judged for your dating history because it's many people more than the average, this episode is to liberate you. This episode is for you. So let's jump right into it. So let's talk a little bit about the experimenter's path. So here's what unites these 2 archetypes. They're designed to try, fail, learn, and rise. That is the line 3 experimenter, period. They're the ones who discover what works by finding out what doesn't. Okay? And this isn't reckless. I've been called reckless, but this isn't reckless. This isn't being broken. This isn't there's something wrong with you, like I had been made to believe all my life. This is your design. You don't learn love through the books. You don't learn love through theories. Heck, you don't even learn love by watching other people. You learn it through lived experiences. Simple. So every relationship that didn't work out taught you something, either about yourself, about what you need, about what you're no longer available for, what you do not want in a relationship. But as with everything, we have the shadow and we have the gift. So the shadow is this focus on thinking that your past means that you're bad at love. I felt that way, so I know this. Whereas the gift is that your mistakes, so-called mistakes, are actually your curriculum. Now you know things that others can only guess because you have experienced it, you've lived it. So if anyone's made you feel shame about your dating past, your history, the number of people you have on that list, then they obviously don't understand your design. So let's differentiate the 2 now. So the 3/5, this is the Phoenix dater, the breakthrough babe. She's the woman who's been through it and she's not ashamed anymore. So here's her pattern. She meets someone, there's chemistry, she dives in. 3 months in, she realizes, this isn't it. Values just don't align, or the emotional maturity isn't there, or something just feels off, right? Her friends will probably say, geez, another one? What's wrong with you? Maybe you're being too picky. But no, she's not too picky. She's learning what she actually needs through contrast. So the 3/5 doesn't just experiment. She also carries that line 5, which is the heretic, the problem solver. So people will naturally project onto her. They see her as the one with the answers. And this works in every area of life, not just love. They see her as the one who can fix this. Ooh, here we go again, fix it. So here's where it gets tricky. She attracts people who want her to save them, to solve their problems, to be their breakthrough. And because she's this compassionate person, she tries. She stays too long trying to help them heal, trying to fix them, trying to transform their life, trying to make everything better. But that's not her job. Her breakthrough is when she realizes that she's not here to recognize anyone. She's here to share what she's learned with people who are ready. The 3/5 is powerful when she stops trying to fix broken men and starts teaching the evolved ones. So if you're 3/5, here's what I like to say to you. Your past isn't proof that you're bad at relationships. Absolutely not. It's proof that you're becoming a master at relationships. Every relationship has taught you something. Now it's time for you to use that wisdom to lead, but only lead people who are already doing the work, not people who want you to do it for them. No. So as the 3-5, you turn your trials into teachings. Your heartbreaks become your breakthroughs. And when she meets someone who's also done the work, then her wisdom becomes partnership and no longer rescuing. So let's talk a little bit about the 3-6, the role model. Woo woo! Now this is the Love Alchemist. That is me, the wise, wild woman. Now let me tell you how this works. So the pattern is the 3-6 moves through life. This is a 6 in the profile. Moves through life in 3 distinct phases. So from age 0 to about 30, she's fully in the experimenter phase, right? So trying everything, dating different types of people, making mistakes, learning through chaos. People will keep judging you. And this is me. Why can't you just settle down? But the number of times I heard it, and that's why I got engaged so many times, because I kept trying to answer, why don't you just settle down? And I'm like, okay, here's another one. Here's the next one. But the truth is, we can't, because we're not designed to settle down too soon. We're designed to gather all of this data through experience. And then we move into the second phase of our life. So that's the age 30 to 50. This is where the 3-6 becomes the observer. So you step back, you watch, you integrate everything that you've learned. This is when you might feel disillusioned with love. So like, I've seen how it goes. I'm not doing that again. Right. And I definitely went through certain phases of my life, even though I've barely ever been single, because I've been in that trial and error phase for a pretty long time. But as you head closer towards 50, you become selective. You become discerning. You're done performing. So I'm 46, right up my alley right now. This is where I'm living life right now. I'm done. I'm super selective, discerning, no longer performative love. I'm here for the real deal. And then we have the phase 3, which is 50 and above. But for a lot of people, like the third phase starts to happen 2.5 years before 50. So I'm kind of getting there right now. I actually think I've jumped a timeline and I'm actually there, because I cannot even imagine existing in the other 2 phases. So the phase 3, this is the role model phase where you step back in, but now you're not experimenting anymore. Now you're here to model what conscious love actually looks like. You become the example. Because people look at you and think, wow, she's been through the fire and she still chooses love. That's my story. I've been through the fire and look how she does it now. So people are now watching you. They're looking to you for wisdom. But here's where the 3-6 gets stuck. You see that phase 2? That when everything is happening, you can become extremely cynical. You might start saying things like, oh my God, there's nobody out there. Everyone's a mess. Love is too hard. It's better for me to just be by myself. Like, this is too much. Or she ends up staying in relationships that don't deserve her because she's trying to prove that she's not flaking. And that's definitely true, because I found myself staying in relationships longer than I should have. I learned the lesson. I had seen what's in it and decided this is not for me. But then I keep staying on because, again, it was like, oh my God. The moment I tell people I've broken up, they'll be like, geez, Joan, another one. But the truth is, those things don't really honor my design. And if you're a 3-6, it doesn't honor your design. So for the 3-6s, your breakthrough is when you realize that your past wasn't failure. It was initiation. And now it's time for you to show people what evolved love looks like. And again, remember there are 3 phases, right? So you have to be patient with yourself while you go through those 3 phases. The 3-6 is not just here to talk about love. No, she embodies what love is, right? She becomes the woman who's been through everything and still shows up with an open heart. That's her superpower. That's what is available for the 3-6 woman, the Love Alchemist. Yes, gotta love it. So the difference. So here's the key difference between the 3-5 and the 3-6. Like I mentioned already, the 3-5 will lead and the 3-6 will model. A little bit different. So the 3-5 will say something like, oh, I figured this out now. Let me show you what love looks like, what the solution is. Whereas the 3-6 will say, I've lived this. Now watch how I do love. Slight difference. So both of them learn through experimentation. Both of them are here to show what doesn't work and what works in love. When both are in their power, they stop attracting projects. They start attracting true partners. So if you're a 3-5 or a 3-6, my fellow 3-6s, whoop whoop, shout out. Your dating history is not a resume of failures. No, it's a portfolio of your wisdom, your learned wisdom. Every relationship that didn't work out, that was just data. That was research. Every lived experience now makes you unshakable in your discernment. You're not bad at love. You're becoming a master at it, whether it's to lead or whether it's to embody that wisdom. So that's the 3-5 and the 3-6. Love, 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 love. So please stop apologizing for your past. Start owning your evolution. All those past relationships, yes, it's time to talk about them and say what you learned about it, how that taught you about who you are and what you're no longer here to settle for. That was just your curriculum. It's time to embrace it. Nothing was wasted. Your divine time is right now. Ooh. That was awesome. Okay, so if you're a 3-5 or a 3-6, let me know. Let me know what your experimenting phases have been through, going through life, through love, and what has really come up for you. If you're heading closer to 50 or now you're in your 50s, how is that different from who you were when you were in phase 1 or even in phase 2? I love hearing stories from people with similar archetypes as myself, and every time I sit down with a 3-6, it's exactly the same thing. No difference. Like, you go through the 3 phases unconsciously. It just happens. Well, that's all I have for you for today on the 3-5 and the 3-6. Next week, we will continue with our dating archetypes as we learn more about our human design, because the goal of this is for you to return home to who you naturally are, who you are designed to be. And we're no longer living and loving by default. We're doing it by design. Thank you so much for being here with me. Until next time, I will see you on Love by Design. See you next week.